Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. Yes, that's right. We survived the weekend. Today on the show, box office winners and losers. Let's see who won. Let's see who lost. Not looking too good for Y2K. I mean, the movie. Plus, your questions, comments, tons of news stories, and a veritable Justice League for Avengers, of commentators and critics. Let's get things started. I'm still waking up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of waking up. But let's go. Come on. Hey everyone. How's it going?
Good.
All right, let's have everyone introduce themselves, and we'll get started with well, we got a lot to talk about today, so let's go.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, aka Minority Home, and I watched Y2K last night. Very excited to talk about it.
Sorry.
What's happening, guys? Dante from Verbal Riot, ready to talk about Rachel Zegler yet once again.
What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. And yeah, I did not see Y2K. I have no intentions on seeing that movie. So yeah, I'm completely blind, but I know Rachel Zegler was in it and that it flopped. And that's about it.
I'm Rob Burnett from the Burnett Work. I lived through Y2K and it was very uneventful and anticlimactic. So I had no reason to go see Y2K.
Man, Robert looks like an older Hal Jordan that joined Sword instead of DC Comics. I can't wait to do Superchats. Let's go.
Alan Ng, editor and chief of Film Threat, and I can't believe Y2K is the subject of today's verses. Good job. Good job, us.
All
69.
Right. And I'm Chris Gore, I guess. Do I have to introduce myself? I don't know. I just did. Okay. Lots to talk about. We have first of all, the box office. Alan, if you would share the box office for this weekend.
Yay.
Let's see how Rachel did here.
Okay, let's see. Oh, she came in what is that? 4, 5, 6, 7. She came in 8th place.
8th place, $2 million, and Interstellar in only 165 theaters did more than twice at 4.4 million. Y2K in how many theaters is that? Over 2,000 theaters. That's big for an A24 release.
Wow.
Did 2.1 million, and a crazy announcement in lieu of this. You're never going to believe it. A24 announced that the movie is coming out on VHS. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. They have put it out on their shop. So I will share screen here and show this to you. You're not going to believe it. Yep, Y2K is available on VHS. It's got to be a pre-order because it ships January 7th. So less than a month away. You for $30, you can get the Y2K VHS tape.
It's kind of clever.
And not only that, I am a member of the A24 club, as it were.
As am I.
Triple A20. I love it. It's a real value. It's like $60 a year. They give you a bunch of free stuff, a welcome kit, a birthday present, discounts, and they sent, and they'll do this often, a redemption code to get a free ticket to see Y2K. They were giving away tickets to see this movie. For those that have seen it, please give us your thoughts. What did you think about Y2K?
Chris, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Didn't you report on this movie being heavily interfered with?
Like
wasn't this shown and it was it got a pretty good response, and then they had to recut the whole thing.
That's correct. So a friend of mine who regularly goes to screenings saw an early cut over a year ago. This movie's been done for a while. And he was raving about this film. It's hilarious. Rachel Zegler is amazing. You're going to die laughing. And I sat in a full theater on opening night, the very first showing, 7:15 p.m., AMC Burbank 16. You know, that theater. It's sort of the new ArcLight of LA.
Second busiest theater in the United States.
Yes. Full. You know, only the first 2 rows were empty. And he's sitting there and people are kind of politely chuckling, but not really loud guffaws, as it were. He said they heavily changed it. It was raunchier, it was dirtier, and there were specific jokes that were, I guess you could say, like anti-woke, but they were like sort of in contrast, like not going after woke per se, but look how we were then in the late 90s. And it's funny by comparison to today's so-called standards.
By the way, American Pie came out after Y2K.
After the event Y2K?
After the event Y2K. And that's my point, is the goal of the main character, Eli, is to kiss the girl at New Year's Eve. That was the goal. And I said in my review, it just felt like the movie was holding back. And then we find out, yeah, they not only held back, they cut out all the good stuff.
Like someone asked if Zegler was naked in the original cut. Chris, what was the one thing I asked you about the movie?
Yeah. Are there boobs?
Was there booba? There was
not.
Not even close. Not even close. Oh no,
there was one set of boobs.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. But it was on a screen in 480, like a porn shot. Yes, correction, but not Rachel. So for those that have seen it, if you haven't seen it, just comment on this. This is a bomb. And I confess, I like Kyle Mooney. He's hilarious. He was funny on SNL. And the videos that got the attention of SNL, he did these sort of weird home videos where he would go to like wrestling conventions and just interview people. And he was funny. And they did a promo video. I'll have to find it that to promote the movie. But I want to hear everyone's comments on Y2K if you've seen it, and if you haven't, why did it bomb so hard? And does Rachel deserve like some of the reasons for why it might have failed?
I don't. Well, she probably contributed to it, considering she is probably the biggest name in this entire cast besides maybe Fred Durst. And not a lot of people are supporting Rachel Zegler right now.
Right.
And I think that she's been promoting it heavily on her Instagram. So she's been trying to, get the word out on Y2K, but I don't think anybody really cares. I thought this was going to be, a mix between like American Pie, Can't Hardly Wait, and This Is the End. Like I thought it was going to be in the same vein, and it wasn't funny. I saw it for free because like I have like a free ticket thing every month, so I just used my free ticket to go see this movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And there's nothing else I really wanted to see. But I saw it with 4 other people in the theater, and nobody laughed. It wasn't funny.
4 people.
The main character, Eli, really bugged me because I don't think he can act, and neither can Rachel Zegler. His best friend Danny was like probably my favorite character out of this entire movie. And even he kind of annoyed me because he basically played what is his name? Seth, whatever his name, from Superbad. He's just trying to get laid the whole time. He basically had played that character the entire time. And the main character, Eli, was just a Laura simp the entire movie. He just looks at her and wants to be with her, talks her up the whole time. He just completely gasses her up, like, oh my gosh, she's the best, she's a genius, she's the smartest person I know.
That's the Zegler character.
He plays a simp the entire movie.
Okay.
She's the STEM.
And as soon as it starts, it's just basically like a member berry. I was so disinterested, I started taking notes. So I was just like, oh, okay, so this is basically like, remember AOL? Remember Enron? Remember the Macarena? Remember when you put the L over your face for loser? Remember Tybo with Billy that guy.
Billy
Remember
Blank.
N64?
Billy Blank,
Remember
yeah.
Discman? Remember video stores? Like that's basically the entire movie.
I do remember.
Movie's a big
Typo.
member berry. But I found it like, is it that we're so tired of nostalgia? And this is recent. This is 25 years ago. Nostalgia, fine. I don't know. Maybe we're not ready for late 90s nostalgia. Or
No,
it's-
you know what? I think a
Totally
movie like
ready for it.
I think a movie like that can work, man. The problem is and it frustrates me because I feel like I'm getting tired of watching movies or TV shows that I know I could write better. And you take this concept of Y2K, all they had to do was make it a movie about, hey, yeah, it's set in the era of Y2K. All these things are going on. It's 1999. The story is friends realize the end of the world is coming, or they think it's coming. So the whole point of the movie is to get laid. That's it. It's like they want to get laid before the end of the world happens. That's all they have to do is make that movie.
Yeah, and nobody
You're
was
saying
even
nostalgia
worried
to
about it
remember
being
Barry. Two different
Y2K.
things.
Like the only time it's really mentioned that, it might be the end of everything is when the lights start to flicker and that main jock guy is like, Y2K is real. But before that, nobody really talked about it.
I mean, they could have still kept Fred Durst. The whole point could have been it all like culminates at a Limp Bizkit concert, right? That's where it all happens, right? That's where it was like a end of the world celebration, and Fred Durst for some reason is the front man for it. And the whole point is for them to try to get laid, and it could have been a fun, raunchy nostalgia movie, right? You could throw the nostalgia in there, but just make it funny. That's all they had to do was make it funny.
But
But it seems like nobody cared about this before they even went to see it. I think the trailers really didn't do this thing any favors at all. That's really, in my opinion, the marketing is where it failed. On top of the fact that Rachel Zegler, a lot of people are negative towards her, so you got that part too. But just like, are people still into these types of films? Like, like Member Berries, I guess it was supposed to be something of a sex comedy. I can't even remember like the last good sex comedy I've seen, other than maybe like
Joyride.
Super Bad 40.
Joyride was-
And no one went and saw it.
because
That's
there's
the
no
thing. I
nudity
mean,
in that.
is this type of film just no longer like that's what we all grew up on, back in the day. Revenge of the Nerds, Porky's,
That's
you
because we
name it.
still wanted to have
fun
sex.
in that.
Right, yeah. But do
You have
kids
to have
even-
the youth doesn't want to. That's oppressive. Sex is oppressive.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Part
Is
of
that
the
the type of movie?
patriarchy.
You're not wrong, Rob. The type of movies
Oh,
that
I
we
know.
would watch is absolutely not what's being made. And then when they do make one, nobody's interested in going to see it. So I was just thinking 40-Year-Old Virgin probably was like the last really, really good one that I think
Superbad was
brought a lot of
pretty funny,
people.
actually.
Yeah, super bad. Yeah, super bad. But like,
But
it seems like sex comedies is just kind of out.
I think
Like I completely intentionally went into this movie thinking, it's going to be just like Can't Hardly Wait, like one of those little teen movies. And I was totally on board. I liked Can't Hardly Wait. And then I was walking out of the theater thinking, am I supposed to take this movie seriously, like as a movie? Were they being serious? Were they joking around? I can't tell. I can't really tell. It was that bad.
I think one of the real problems, you make a movie called Y2K. Well, that's a time when nothing actually happened. It's like you make a movie about nuclear apocalypse. Nuclear apocalypse can happen. We haven't seen it happen yet. We know what it was like when 2 atomic bombs were dropped. But you watch Threads, one of the most disturbing movies ever made, from 84 it was, same year as, or 83, day after. Nothing happened in Y2K. It literally was a big nothing burger.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to watch a movie, it's I'm not saying this is a great movie, but go back and watch Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive. That's based on his story Trucks. If you want to watch a much more highly entertaining movie about technology running amok and killing people, and Maximum Overdrive's not good, but it had to have been more entertaining than this movie, because if it started out as a raunchy sex comedy that had, look, you brought up This Is the End. That movie is hilarious. And it has bite to it. What I find so interesting now is you can't have the kind of raunchy comedies because they'll offend somebody. Which was kind of the point of a raunchy comedy in the first place.
But it sounds like they made that movie and then decided to cut it at the end, right? So they made a raunchy movie, a raunchy comedy, and they lost their balls when it came down to release.
Here's the thing that confounds me. if this was a raunchy comedy, a gory comedy, who put out the movie? What company?
Yeah,
A24.
they do.
Not exactly the prudish company that I'm used to.
No,
you know?
I mean they put out Spring Breakers.
Yeah, and it
Oh,
makes me
God.
wonder who. Yeah, where? What was the discussion? You know, why did they all of a sudden say that this movie within our catalog is the one that we have to tone down?
What's the timeline
Yeah.
on this and Snow White? Like, is there a chance that because it was like, no, she can't come out and be naked and have raunchy. She's Snow White. She has to be pure.
They
I'm
don't care.
stretching here, right?
There
So
would be
then
no
who
deal.
did this?
There would be no deal between A24 and Disney to keep her clothes on.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a
come
weird
on.
pivot.
There's no way in hell Rachel Zegler would ever go nude in anything.
No, I
Well,
don't think so.
not now. Give her 5 years when her career is completely in the toilet. She'll probably be doing OnlyFans soon. But
Wait for the tape to get released, Dante. Wait for the tape.
I'm just saying, we're probably
thing
not
is,
going to see
she's
her. We're
talented.
not going to see her nude anytime soon.
The thing is, she is talented. She was great in West Side Story.
She was okay. She is certainly a singer. I don't think she has the acting chops.
No,
gonna be
I don't
honest.
think so either.
In this movie, the tone of it to me was it's a trauma movie. Now, trauma movies are made for almost nothing, but this was a ridiculous, over the top, stupid comic book violence, not even gory violence, ridiculous concept of, your toaster and all your machinery somehow coming to life Terminator style to wipe out humanity. By the way, in addition to the VHS tape, the soundtrack CD is available on a CD. It's the Y2K Badass Mix. I'm sure available on the A24 site.
And you
look,
buy that, then I'll burn a copy of it for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll just say this. I like A24. I will see a movie just because A24 has the logo in front, because they pick things that are weird and creative and different, and they rolled it. I like A24.
Well, A24 has earned a lot of goodwill. My question was, what was the budget for this movie?
It had to be low.
It was like
So it was a low buy-in, right?
I would think
10 or 15 million,
well,
something like that.
How much?
I feel like if there was a lot of money spent, it was on the actors. I mean, how much do you think Fred Durst got to be?
Oh, come on! He got paid a square meal. What are you talking about?
The shade getting thrown.
I can't imagine this is more than.
Disgusting.
I can't imagine this
He
is
got
more
paid
than
in
$30
cookies,
million.
man.
By the way, the thing that
No
sucked
pun.
me in is this is exactly the kind of movie I should like. The nostalgia is right there for me. I like the kid from the It movies. He was fine. Rachel, she doesn't ruin films for me yet, although Snow White, that I think it's too late for that. But I by all accounts should like it because it's also basically a big budget trauma movie. But they were not. The only thing they really had was the trailer, and then Zegler's comments about half of America did not help. Now, Kyle Mooney, the director who did this, put out this kind of viral video. I'll show it to you right now, or meant to be viral, kind of like he used to do. It's called Life in 99. I'm not going to show the whole thing. I'll scrub through it. But it's kind of sad. Like his style of humor, it's not landing. I mean, I could be wrong. You guys tell me. You want to watch some of this? Let's watch this. Okay, here we go.
What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Mooney, the dude behind A24's Y2K, and I can't wait to take you back in time to a day of my life in 1999. This fit just ain't right. Now that's looking tight. Let's do this shit.
Okay, I did have that shirt.
Not gonna need this anymore. Let's do this shit. VHS. Dope.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
Hello, A24? I think I got your video right here.
Cringe, but
So
accurate,
this is how they're selling this. I mean, is this winning? I don't know. Should we? How much more should we watch?
No,
It looks like the audition tape I made when I was
He
when I tried
tries
out
to
for
do
Real
a-
World
yeah.
back in
He
2000,
tries to do a bit
2001.
that bombs.
If you want to
Yeah.
know what YouTube looked like before it was YouTube, those are the
Yes.
videos that you would
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
All right.
That's how Kyle Mooney became successful. I like him. There's a bit that he does later that just completely fails, and he's like, "Let's not do this bit." Like, but they left it in this video.
You know,
Gotta find
too, one of the problems is like, look, if you look at the 80s, for instance, the 80s has a lot of extreme, like the fashion on Miami Vice, all the pastels and no socks and Gennaro loafers and all that. The 90s aren't, you don't look at them, it's not cringeworthy. You know, you look at the 90s and it's not that different from today. The music, there was a lot of great bands. There was a lot of cool pop culture. There was a lot of, whereas the 80s had a lot of extreme differences from today. So when you're watching him do this video, it's like, yeah, that could be anywhere now. I mean, other than wearing a t-shirt underneath a button-down shirt, we still do that today.
Fair point. We also listen to a lot of the same music and all that from the early 2000s and all.
In the
Paramore
movie,
somehow is still around.
When the teens hung out in the movie, they were grouped off by their music style, like the grunge group and the hip hop group and the boy band group. That's kind of the cliques that were happening in high school within the film.
I think that's a vestige of people. That's an 80s thing. I think that the thing about 90s culture started to collide, you know, and you had everybody started to really mix. Pop culture was mixed. I mean, you know, you had different, all people didn't just like one thing. They liked all kinds of things. Once you had Run DMC and Aerosmith do Walk This Way, things started to change.
Yeah, because then we got Limp Bizkit, we got Korn, we got all these like this mashup of rock and rap and all this other stuff. And
let's look at, here's this bit that kind of just goes wrong, and they don't do it. It's, here we go.
The big baggy jeans was a mistake, though. I do apologize for that.
Hey, would you buy me some beer? No, I'm good. Would you guys be willing to buy me some beer? Would you buy me some beer?
Oh, not all of it?
Well, it's like I'm in 1999.
What?
It's like I'm a teenager in 1999.
You were a teenager in
It's like a thing where it's like I'm pretending like I'm a teenager in 1999. I'm trying to get beer.
You don't look like a teenager.
Oh no.
Yeah. Thank you. Nobody's gonna fucking do this. I'll buy it. I'll just.
TJ.
Buying beer as a team is not specific to 1999.
No, he deals on the bit in the middle of the bit, and there's another bit he tries to do that fails, and it's not funny in the fail. Like, it's just these Jackass makes it look easy to do stuff.
I think this was haphazardly put together.
It was quickly put together because they had to promote the movie without Rachel Zegler. They're promoting it with, I like Kyle Mooney too. Like, I like him a lot. Hey, Alejandro, Millennium Bug is the better movie, directed by Alejandro Montoya Marin. He was in our chat. Yeah, that's the better movie about this event. But I like Kyle Mooney, and it's bombing for me, and I'm predisposed to like it.
So it doesn't sound like Rachel Zegler killed this movie. It sounds like the movie killed this movie. It sounds like the movie is just bad.
Yes. Oh, it's a bad movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's. Yeah, I mean, Rachel Zegler did do a good job because she comes off as normal and likable.
Right.
I mean, those are real acting chops for her.
What's interesting about this is that the thing about the paranoia that led up to Y2K, there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of and that's the direction he should have headed in. Like, what if Y2K actually, what everyone feared, actually happened?
Yeah, that would have been a better premise for the movie.
I mean, it's called Y2K, and it seems like he just made another teen thing without leaning into what the movie promises.
Yeah, because it was a nothing burger. We went outside, nothing happened.
Well, that's the thing. When Y2K happens, all the electronics and appliances start attacking everybody and trying to take over.
Even that's kind of dumb. Because
then he goes to a mall, and it's another failed bit. This stuff. Look, I did field pieces for G4 for a number of years. You have to produce this stuff. You have to make something happen. You know, reality TV is not real. You kind of manufacture situations, and it felt like Kyle Mooney just hadn't done this in a long time. His older videos from the early 2000s are great. They're very funny, or at least my memory of them is funny. Let's do a few more minute or so of this, and we'll bail on it.
I think this was a KB toy shop. Just playing. 90s. This is bringing me back to 1999 with the mall. Santana did what with Rob Thomas? Remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Of the old school shows? I didn't have a reference. Dinner now, in your pants. Want a hacky? Do you like movies? Want a hacky? So I'm making this video. I feel like people are actively avoiding me. Do you have a Tamagotchi? No. All good. I had such a good buzz going, and now I'm like, I feel
This
like
is
I fully
painful.
lost it. Do you
Yeah,
guys
it's
remember
really
Beanie
bad.
So
Babies?
painful.
You actually don't remember Beanie Babies? Wish you could step out from my ledge, my friend. Fuck. This isn't working.
He just
I
looks
want
like a
this video to go
TikToker
viral,
trying
and I
to
feel
get people's
like
attention.
nobody's fucking
Yes.
buying.
Yes.
They don't watch the video. They don't go see Y2K.
And I had
you know
that
what I mean?
necklace,
I feel
too.
like it's a waste. I don't know
Puka
why
shell?
we're still here.
Yeah.
This needs to have been planned out
Let's
better.
fucking.
His wardrobe's
The
on
next
point, but everything else is leaves a lot to be desired.
So we've got this movie coming out, and we're like, oh, let's do like a viral video, like Hawk Tua or something like that.
Yeah. No,
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, if you could do something like that.
I do videography myself. So
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. But like,
like
Oh my
bodybuilding content. So
oh shit. Oh, how much do you lift? Or-
I'm something of a streamer
honestly, I've
myself.
been doing it for like
I'm
about
gonna
8
die.
years. So I started at 14. I'm 20.
The point,
Wow.
my point is this: they tried to do this thing that Kyle Mooney is objectively good at because he's done it before, and it just bombed. And that's what they were using to sell the movie. I got a big press release about this video that we just watched. And
Wow.
right, Davina Duckworth, like a charisma vacuum. But because they could not use Rachel Zegler, a friend of mine went to the premiere of this movie. It was at a smaller theater on Wilshire Boulevard. I won't say which. And he described it as low budget premiere, like no one was there. And Zegler wasn't there.
She wasn't. She was at some premiere.
It was
for
at one
Y2K.
of the premieres.
Oh, okay.
So, but
Okay,
not
so
this
but
one.
even in the raunchiest version of this movie that we never got, Rachel Zegler still doesn't. It's not like she takes her clothes off, right? She doesn't do anything
Right.
crazy. So I don't understand. Like I know Snow White comes out in April, right?
March.
March. Okay, so that's close. So March, and this movie just came out now, and I know there's going to be some crossover. I don't understand why they had to cut it, right? Like maybe they did it for her because they said, well, Disney's coming out, we can't have her doing crazy shit because Snow White is coming out in March. I kind of get that. So I guess I'm trying to understand, why would they cut it or edit it if it worked the first time?
Well, maybe the obvious answer is Hollywood won't produce teen
Yeah.
sex comedies anymore.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but like you
That's
said,
it.
A24 doesn't care about that, right?
Well, apparently they do.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's bad on them then. That's
That
really
is
bad.
bad.
on
No,
them.
it's the. I think what's interesting is A24, from what I've heard from people that have been working on projects, they're in kind of a transitional stage. They're making the Friday the 13th. They're doing the Crystal Lake TV series,
Mm.
and they were going in a direction with Brian Fuller, who, and by the way, the first two scripts for that show were great. And A24 didn't, for whatever reason, didn't like the direction and everything. Their executives are getting more involved in their content.
Hmm.
And you see this happening when an independent company becomes successful.
Yeah.
The people at the company want more. I mean, when you work in entertainment and you're working for a company and you're distributing or selling a product that is made by other creatives that aren't the executives at the company. When a company like A24 becomes successful, the executives want to share in that success. It happens in every entertainment business.
Well, we saw it happen with Miramax. Right?
That's what I was going to say. With Miramax, who became the star of Miramax? Unfortunately, it was Harvey Weinstein. And the filmmakers that he dealt with a lot of the time, he was getting involved in cutting their movies. He thought of himself as a creative. And so I think A24 has now reached, A24 is almost 20 years old now. How old is it, Chris? 15, 20?
Yeah.
Now they're branching off into TV. They're spending a lot more money. So there's a lot more at stake for what's going on. So the executives are now going to start wielding more power. and they're becoming. It's what happens to every company.
It sounds like Vice. I was just watching a documentary type of thing of what happened with Vice. It's like, yeah, you start out as small and rebel and cool and unique, and then you get big and legitimate, and then everything that he said just happens. Except, by the end, there's something
because
different.
the executives resent the fact that they're not the people driving the company's success. It's the creatives. I mean, A24 is essentially a distribution company that became a production company, but their success is still reliant upon people outside of the company, the creatives that they bring in. So I could see that this film, they probably had some kind of a creative, some kind of a screening, and they decided they had to cut the raunchiness out of it to try and appeal to a broader audience, a younger audience. And then what you do, that kind of thinking is deadly, because the very thing that attracts the audience that you want, you're trying to broaden your audience and make it the biggest audience as possible, which is fine, but then you end up watering down what was unique about your project in the first place, and no one goes. And that's because the people that the executives at these companies are not creatives, but they fancy themselves creatives, and they think they know because they're basing all their opinions on analytics. What people will never understand is filmmaking is about gut instinct. That's why Alan Ladd Jr., when Universal wouldn't make Star Wars, American Graffiti was one of the most profitable. It was made for less than $1 million and made the studio $150 million. After George Lucas did that for Universal, they're like, yeah, we don't want to make your next movie, though. We don't want to do a space movie.
Crazy.
So then Alan Ladd Jr. at Fox is like, let's give the kid a chance. I mean, filmmaking is all about an executive at the top having a gut instinct. What has killed this business is doing business by committee, because none of the people in the committee really have an answer. They're waiting for someone else to say it. They need to see analytics. They have something that can point to that takes the blame off of them. And that's why Hollywood is in the state it's in now, because no one knows. And no one will stick up and go, we should do this, and I'll stake my reputation on it. And that's how Hollywood was built.
Hey, Chris, when your friend saw the first edit, was that before or after the election?
It was way before. It was over a year ago.
Okay, so that's the problem.
They probably pulled back. But I'll say this, Rob, it's also knowing the zeitgeist.
Yep.
What is in the zeitgeist in our lizard brain that we're all thinking about but don't say out loud? And I'll say this, Hollywood has lost the plot. They've lost the connection to the audience. They have no connection to blue collar and what people are thinking. Hollywood, very unwise. They chose a side. And so everything that also drove decisions. We won't get too much into, but it's by choosing a side. That was a huge mistake. The zeitgeist, what's in the zeitgeist, everyone, no matter where you are, like where you are politically, what gender, what do we relate to? What's out there,
But also I feel like, man, look, for me, the raunchy teen comedy is like the easiest movie to make, right? And the thing about that is, man, it's not just a movie about a bunch of sex, right? There is always something heartwarming in the raunchy 80s movie, man. You look at Revenge of the Nerds, right? Yeah, it was about nerds getting laid. But you know what? There was a heartwarming story about accepting who you are, embracing that and being okay with that, right? There's always these heartwarming things, even in the raunchy, even in Superbad, right? Like their friendship was the real story, right? And the fact that these guys after high school probably aren't going to be as close anymore, right? But in between that, it's about them getting to this party and getting laid, right? It's an easy formula, man. It's an easy movie to make. And so when I see movies that do it so badly, like nothing pisses me off more. Because these people are getting paid and I'm not.
I would say American Pie.
Missing, though. There's nothing like that. There's no through message. There's no message on friendship. This is a nothing burger. There's no message in this movie. There's no heartwarming thing in this movie. It starts and then it ends. Like, that's it. Even like the two best friends in the movie, they have a fight that lasts 2 minutes. Like, they fight and they make up 2 minutes later. There's really nothing in it.
And then they kill him off.
Yeah, and then they kill him off. I wasn't going to say that. Then they do. They kill off the friend. So there's really no friendship message there. Yeah. There's nothing. There's something likable in all teen raunchy comedies. There's something at its core, but at this, there is nothing.
If you go back and watch American Pie, that movie is filled with heart. Like,
Yeah.
if you take all of the friends and the lessons and
even Porky's or Fast Times.
Fast Times.
Those
Yeah. Oh
movies
my
are
God.
underrated.
Fast Times.
All those of Last American Virgin, because at its core, they're all coming of age stories.
Yes.
All of them. And they're coming of age stories with people that actually like each other, friends, and they have a real bond. And they might have some kind of static that happens between them within the story, but they are friends first and foremost. And that has kind of been, in a way, it's old-fashioned. It's old-fashioned. And, the world today is different. People don't have the kind of friendships. Everything is done virtually. Like, you're never without your friends. You're carrying them around on phones.
Aaron beat me. Road Trip. Friend movie on that one that joined him. Did you ever see that Road Trip? Todd Phillips.
Great movie. I loved it.
Yeah.
Zapped with Scott Bale.
Zapped.
And
I
Willie
remember
Ames.
the poster.
Willie Ames.
I have superpowers. Let me use it to look at girls' boobs. Like that's the movie.
Which is
I
what
mean,
every
so
teen
dumb.
guy would do. Okay.
Yeah.
Every teen guy.
But you guys are talking about like a bygone era because they won't make those types of movies these days anymore, and that's the sad part. Is that
we get Euphoria
talking
instead.
about. Well, you're talking about like the creativity that doesn't exist in Hollywood. Everybody's playing it safe. Everybody wants to make what's already been made, and they're just walking a line of, I don't know, just of uncreative movies that we're not going to get those kind of films anymore. And those types of movies are exactly what Hollywood needs right now. You need those types of raunchy, just take risks. We don't care. We're doing it. And, let's just see what happens. And if people love it, they love it. If they hate it, they hate it. But damn it, we're making this movie because there's somebody at the back of that movie that really believes in that film. We're not seeing that kind of stuff coming out of Hollywood. We're seeing crap like this. Where they're just going to play it safe and they're not going to go as far as they could go with a concept. They don't
to
want
be fair,
to
this is
because
all
they're afraid of
holdovers.
the blowback or the backlash. You got to have 15 intimacy coordinators on deck every single movie because you can't, you don't want to take that chance that you might cross a line, because look at what's going on in Hollywood right now where you're talking about Diddy and everything that's going on there. I think everybody is just backing out of anything that's too risque and they're playing it ultimately safe at this point.
Well, I agree. I think that they really did play it safe with the movie because it could have been a lot raunchier. And if it was a raunchier cut a year ago, then the decision to play it safe and release the safe cut or the non-raunchier cut to the theaters, to get more people into the theater and not offend too many people with the raunchier cut. They said, let's release that one. And then we'll do in order to make a little bit of extra money and, we'll release the raunchier cut on a DVD version or whatever. Let's just play it safe for now. That way our movie doesn't get canceled because people are offended by a joke or two.
Another go back. I mean, once I say release the raunchier version first, then do the sanitized for, airlines or whatever, like they did with Deadpool.
They did that with Deadpool.
Yes.
They did that with Deadpool. They had the Christmas pool or whatever when they released it during Christmas time. They did that with Deadpool, but I don't know. I think Hollywood is worried right now. They're like, no, we don't want to do that for fear of upsetting people.
Well,
But
that's
that's,
just
that's of their own making, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's of their own making.
But
to your point, who wants a safe movie? Are we asking for safe movies? Who is asking for safe movies?
But we have a real cultural problem when it comes to anything that has to do with, the erotic thrillers pretty much dead. And now, pornography is so pervasive on the internet. People just want to get to the action to be where we're. You've got your scenarios. Everybody's watched this stuff from way too young of an age. And it's taken any kind of eroticism or any kind of sexual content and removed it. People are like, I'm bored. You've got college students saying they'd rather see less sexuality in movies today than more. And so we've lost a whole aspect of human behavior that has been turned so transactional that eroticism itself is sort of dead in our culture.
Rob, it's beyond that. It's not just about the eroticism, man. I think just in this culture, we're trying so hard to blur the gender lines that we're not even having stories now about a boy meeting a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not even having those stories
that
anymore,
too.
Right? Where a boy is just attracted to a girl, man. And that's kind of what I really appreciated about Kevin Smith's movie, the 4:30 movie, because it was kind of like a flashback to that time when, you know what? Yeah, you know, me and my friends are going to the movie. I'm going to meet this cute girl. I'm excited about meeting this cute girl. You know, it was something that we just don't have anymore because the culture is trying to make it where, you know, the lines are blurred and you know, the intimacy between two people, regardless to what they are. See, here's the weird thing: we'll get more of that now between homosexual couples than we will with heterosexual couples.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested in seeing Nicole Kidman's new movie, Baby Doll.
I've seen it.
I've seen.
How
the
is it?
preview.
It's about romance.
Is it good?
There's some. I'll tell you this. There's some fetishy like stuff.
Yeah,
but for like Rob and I, that's like a Tuesday. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
It wouldn't be anything crazy. Like I saw it, I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. Like that seems that's in rotation.
It looked like 50 Shades of Grey, but
it's kind of like that. It's basically made for the character that Nicole Kidman plays. The women that represent that, like that's who it's made for, but it's not gonna shake things up in any way.
This is what I said about.
It was fine.
This is
No
what I said
9.5
Poor
weeks.
Things.
Huh?
Nope.
The problem I had with Poor Things from last year was that, you know, Emma Stone is having sex constantly, but it's the physical act of sex and nothing. There's no romance. There's no love. There's no connection with people. All she is a person who desires the.
Say it again.
Desires
Hold
sex.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Well, you're supposed to do that when I started, not when I'm.
Love you, Alan.
Yeah, but that's the thing is Disney. I think Frozen is the last time they put romance of any kind in a Disney movie. You know, and with the remakes, they're going out of their way to pull romance out of the past films that from the past Disney classics.
well, because they don't want to do that because that's not very feminist of them. It shows a vulnerability in women falling in love with a man, and you can't have that right now.
It's patriarchal.
Yeah. Let's go to some chat comments and questions. But before we do, I want to remind people to go to shop.filmthreat.com. All sorts of products. We've extended the Funeral for a Franchise shirt through the end of the year. People want it and asked for it. So go to shop.filmthreat.com. Follow us on Instagram. I personally run the Instagram. It's a gallery of movie posters because I love movie posters. And follow us on X and all that stuff. And a quick announcement. And we're doing a story on Justine Bateman. Justine Bateman will be on the show live on Wednesday. I had an exchange with her on X. I'll show you this. We did a video, or one of our videos, we actually, talked about something that she wrote, and we read her story. And her Hollywood is Dead op-ed. We talked about it here, and she said, hey, she tweeted the video out, and then during that video, apparently I said, hey, would you come on the show? My DMs are open, and she's coming on the show on Wednesday. She'll be here live, probably for hopefully the whole show. Now, in the beginning, Alan and I will do news, then we're talking to Justine. Hopefully she stays on, and I'm glad, she's done some mainstream media. I think she needs to do alternative media. I've been following her for years now. So join us Wednesday. Justine Bateman live here. Can't wait. And
you should invite her to award this.
I'll invite her to be a guest at Award This. So yeah, I will. Why not?
I mean, a presenter, dude.
I'll see what I don't want to abuse this. I'm always very, I just don't want to scare her. But our audience, please be ready for Justine. In fact, we're covering a story today. She's always in the news. So she's, like I said, my spirit animal. So let's get to soups and other topics. Let's go.
I don't agree with this. This is an old one. Chris Gore is fat at Hotmail for $2.
What?
Hail Frank, Alan, and the panel. Also, happy birthday, Robert.
Oh, happy birthday.
Hey,
happy birthday.
I gotta stay in shape. I'll take the hint. Thank you, Chris Gore is fat at Hotmail.
Cheers. James Reticuli, aka General X Fed, for $4.99 for Alan's Helm Hammerhand Popcorn Bucket Fund. His mouth says no, but his eyes say yes,
I
yes.
have to start buying popcorn buckets.
yes. Everyone wants that damn popcorn
like
bucket. It's a Warhammer, Alan.
I think Gary's buying it. So there you go.
Cheers. Albert, not a retro for $5. Hail Steph, High Priestess of the Spicy Cult, Slayer of She-Hulks, Destroyer of the Coven on the View, and Crusher of trendy bimbos. Who's next?
Rachel Zegler.
Hey, if you're not following My Nerdy Home or subscribe to her channel, you are missing out.
Also, you should probably watch her and Desperate play Chain Together. That's also pretty entertaining.
we finally finished it.
Nice.
I am a below average gamer. He is a very experienced gamer, and I was like, "Hey, let's get together and play some games."
It's hilarious.
They're terrible.
Alejandro Montoya Marin for $9.99. As a director with a Y2K movie myself, Millennium Bugs, I've used the film's momentum to push our indie. Haha. Yeah, that's what you do.
Watch the better indie alternative Alejandro's film. Look up Millennium Bugs.
Red French Moon for $2. Happy Monday, everyone. R&B, that is a nice jacket. Is that Snake Plissken?
Yeah, that's what I think I bought this jacket maybe 25 years ago. It's a Guess jacket, and it's like vinyl. It's faux leather, and people love this jacket. They just
It looks
love
like a Hal Jordan thing. I'm telling you, you work it. Thomas Pickett for $5. Would this movie have been better instead of Y2K have a meteor impact? Basically, would a meteor impact in the movie made it better?
No, nothing can. I mean, just the tone is off. I think Alan liked it better than I a little bit, but I did
little bit,
not much.
The real question is, how did it get made?
Better.
I want to know how it got made. Who greenlit it? What made them decide to greenlight it?
I can hear the pitch in my head. Kyle Mooney from SNL had all the elements. If you make it cheap, it was the tone, and I'd love to see that raunchier version.
The script had to have sold it.
I bet you that was the original thing, right, Robert? It was all the fun and the boob and all that, and that got
taken out
by something sinister.
I mean, it's it's bizarre to see that kind of thing happen, because the reason this movie exists in the first place, it seems like once it got made, they neutered it. And that happens a lot. It happened to our horror film.
Yeah.
I made a horror film with Warner Brothers, and when they saw it, they're like, there's no way the studio can ever release this movie.
Yeah.
And I had to fight. And we still have to get a lot of it out.
So essentially, it's a porn movie with all the sex taken out.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, in a way.
Sinister Mustache for $5. I've reached a point where I can no longer separate the art from the artist. It's hard to enjoy anything. That took a long time for Mark Hamill to ruin stuff, but now The Raven and the Writing Desk. Member for 18 months, just letting us know. Thank you. Matthian the Kobold for 50 Norwegian krona. Watch Leslie Headland's next project be a raunchy teen movie.
I would watch that, though, because I liked Russian Doll.
Remember, the rumor was that she was actually based, and she just went along with all that goofy shit because she wanted her project to be made.
That's what I heard. Brett Cooper talked about how she did a show with Leslie Headland, and she was totally based. And then somehow, like, well, I guess you got to bend over and play the game to even get something made.
I mean, look, here's the thing. We're all based until Disney writes all those zeros in front of you, right? Then all of a sudden it's...
But then the problem is you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
You know, if your project fails, you're finished.
Well,
and that's grifting, by the way, is just taking money.
There's a lot of people who fell upward, though.
Yeah.
True.
It depends how much money gets spent. Really.
All right, let's get through these.
Psychotic Mongoose gifted a film membership. Thank you, Psychotic Mongoose. Albert Not a Retro for $5. Is Baby Doll the movie where the woman boss exploits her young male employee, but it's okay because she's doing it, doing him daily, doing it to him? Yeah.
Yes, it's not like that. It's not that.
It looks like the young interns going. I mean, look, half of porn is about somebody going after their stepmom. It's not like I mean, I would say that's culturally a zeitgeist thing right now. Talk about the zeitgeist, a young intern going after Nicole Kidman, because the young interns, after all, are smarter than everybody else, right?
Yep.
Yeah, men and women are different too.
If you watch the trailer, the young man is the dominant in the
yeah.
relationship.
She's allowing herself to be dominated.
Dude, you're selling me more and more on this movie. I'm like, I gotta
Make
go
me wanna
watch
watch
it.
Not to get too in the weeds, but in that kind of dynamic, it's the sub that has actual power because that person can end it. I won't go into detail. Let's continue.
You seem very intimate with
You sound
knowledge
like
of
you
that.
have
Chris got a lot of experience in that.
I know. You sound
What I like is
experienced
the
in
built
this.
to the nudity.
I'll save that for a different stream. Okay.
How do you know?
We'll talk to Justine about it. That's
Please don't. Please don't.
No, we will not do that. All right. Yeah. Okay. Last
There's
one.
one last one.
and
Yeah,
then we
Tom
gotta
for
pivot.
2. Chris, you're not fat. Chris isn't fat. Chris Gore, great hair.
Well, the hair
Great
covers
hair.
the fat. So
Dude,
there
Chris-
you
Chris-
go.
Chris-
Chris is smaller
One
than me now, so.
Albert not arrested for 2. Porn isn't mainstream. I think Robert was talking about I just watched Creature Commandos where Dr. Frankenstein was plowing the Bride of Frankenstein and I'm for fun
They had
stuff.
two sex
but
scenes in that. They had 2 sex scenes in Creature Commandos, man. It's
the Zack
wild.
Snyder Viking stuff was basically softcore porn. It's fine, but it was there.
I disagree. I think porn has gone completely mainstream, and I think part of the problem with our society is that at one click of a button you can get whatever you want. And when kids are
I completely
young,
agree with Rob on that one. Yeah.
it's everywhere. I mean, that's why OnlyFans has been normalized.
Yeah.
I mean, it's destroyed the entire intimacy, togetherness. All that has been completely wrecked, and we don't know it yet. We'll reap
Robert.
We'll reap the benefits or reap the horrors of it in 10 years.
Yeah.
On
once OnlyFans got normalized, basically every other girl you meet has one. Then yeah, porn is mainstream. I would categorize OnlyFans as porn.
Yeah.
But do you think it's because they removed it from television and movies?
But
there's no alternative.
Guys, for a moment, let's pivot. This is exactly what I'm about to talk about.
All right.
Because Star Trek Section 31 is coming. on the note of what you were just saying, the poster has been revealed. We are not going to watch the trailer because Paramount copyright claims everything. I will present to you the trailer with Michelle Yeoh.
The poster.
The poster. Thank you, Alan. Here is the smallest word on that screen is Star Trek, and it says Academy Award nominee Michelle Yeoh, Star Trek in tiny letters, Section 31. And on the topic of porn going mainstream, this is Michelle Yeoh dressed very sexy in what looks like a pro-dom outfit with a Addicted to Love type of greased back haircut. A little reference there. Rob knows all my references. I love having you here.
Robert Palmer, come on, yeah.
She's in a chair, legs spread. For those who can't see this, legs are spread in these boots, pleather or leather outfits, whatever it could be, latex, who knows, with these high heels, resting that heel on a man bent over in submission before her. Don't tell me porn hasn't gone mainstream. This is not Star Trek. This is an Axel Braun. Let me finish. Axel Braun, very, very respected adult film director in some circles. This is the DVD's box cover to a porn parody. This may as well be Sex Trek: The Next Penetration.
First of all, how's your show called not called Section 69?
Yeah.
You know who this is, right? This is the Empress from the Terran Empire. That Philippa Giorgio died in the canon. This is the Empress version so she's literally a girl boss that took over the entire galaxy.
She's a murderer. I mean, she's a mass murderer. She's a cannibal. She's like the worst of the worst, but she's
she ate the dude. There's an entire species they were eating. Oh my god, I forgot.
The Kelpians.
Yeah.
So you're selling this movie, is that?
Okay, so we've all seen the trailer, but no one's talking about this poster. This poster is exactly what you guys were talking about before. So much of porn has become mainstream. It's just leaked its way into just the marketing for a new Star Trek show. Although I would like to see, Rob, do you remember, what was the movie poster that was a trend in the 80s where it would be the backside of a woman, legs, very long
Yeah,
legs.
so it started with For Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes Only one sheet, the Bond film that came out in 1981.
I want to do an art show where I take that image, the For Your Eyes Only with the legs, and make the poster for The Empire Strikes Back with that, or just on Golden Pond, and just every poster for mainstream movies just have those For Your Eyes Only legs. Anyways, sorry, that's a weird distraction there. What do we think of this poster? What do we think about? You've all seen the trailer. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, number one, not my proudest chub. I'm not going to lie. But secondly, I mean, look, this is the only way they're going to sell any kind of new Star Trek anything, man. Star Trek is dead in the water. No one cares anymore. They got to do whatever they can to sell this show or this movie. No one's going to watch it. So why not have, Michelle, with her legs spread and it's not going to help it, but it's not going to hurt it either.
Well,
like who's attracted to this? Who's coming to watch it based on this? This would not appeal to me. I don't know anybody who this would appeal to. If you're a Trekkie, why would you? What is it about this poster that would draw you to watch this? Is it Michelle Yeoh? You could have had Michelle Yeoh in any other pose, any other look, and this doesn't sell Star Trek to me. I guess is what I'm saying. I don't see Star Trek anywhere on this entire poster except for the word Star Trek.
Well, that's why it's so
didn't have that Star Trek up there, and you just clean that line out, and it's just Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh, Section 31, and this I wouldn't know this is a Star Trek movie. So who are they trying to sell this to? This is crazy.
I'm trying to zoom in so you can see that is a man bent over beneath her heel.
Are you familiar with telling men from behind? You're sure this could be an alien?
It could be whatever. It says new movie streaming. Is it just a movie?
Yeah,
it's just a movie. Yeah,
it's a PG-13 movie. Also, by the way, curious timing. My latest issue of AARP magazine came in, and look who's on the cover. Michelle Yeoh.
Well, we discovered this yesterday on Georgia's show. There's only 2 Asian actresses. There's Michelle Yeoh and there's Ming-Na Wen. There's only two.
No, Aquafina. Let's throw
well, she counts as black now.
Aquafina is the other. Look,
Gemma Chan.
Gemma Chan.
Oh, yeah, I said Gemma Chan.
So good.
Gemma Chan is hot.
But where are we now? Where what it takes to sell a new Star Trek show is to make it look like some fetish DVD from like Europe?
Well, yeah, because no one's going to watch it otherwise, man.
That's why Star Trek is so tiny. They don't want you. They're trying to trick you into watching this movie.
I just think it smacks of desperation because how they have decided to promote Star Trek is not really resulting in any momentum.
Well, it's like, look, all of these IPs, they're trying to transform them into other things.
Right.
Star Trek has always been a niche thing that they've constantly, it's like fetch. Mm-hmm. They've been trying to make Star Trek happen since 2009 with J.J. Abrams taking over. And that didn't work either. Everyone's like, wow, those movies made so much money. They actually didn't make so much money. Remember, the studio only takes in half of what a film grosses at the box office. Mm-hmm. And when you spend $175 million reported on your production budget of your first Star Trek movie, and then you have to market it, and you make $400 million, that's not a lot of profit the studio made. And then Into Darkness was a lot more expensive. And the Star Trek franchise on TV has never made much money either.
And Robert, worse, they didn't make new fans. That's the thing.
No.
Like, if you had gotten a bunch of new fans and you could have sacrificed maybe but you didn't get a whole bunch of new passionate fans.
No, because they're trying to turn Star Trek into something else rather than continue on the path that made Star Trek successful in the first place, which was appealing to an audience that was inquisitive about the future, about technology, about friendship, relationships, about new experiences, boldly going in your life. They've tried to turn it into something that isn't that, and they haven't been able to retain their old audience or a new audience.
Yeah, they pissed off the middle of the ground. I still play Star Trek Online, and some of the people that are still there are so insanely insular. They've pushed off all of the normal people,
and they've had to incorporate in Star Trek Online in all this new stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. There you go. That's
Yeah,
the
there we
European-
go.
That's the European version.
Beautiful.
Now, see, what I want to see, someone out there, maybe we can do this with AI. I want to see other movie posters do this style. Empire Strikes Back. Let's see the best recommendations.
Yeah, where's the Wicked poster for this?
Ordinary people. Wicked, right? Like,
Oh, you know what?
Long hair,
Is
green legs. Is that what you
Flash
said?
Gordon. Flash Gordon in this style.
Well, that's kind of obvious, Flash Gordon. But what posters could you do in this style with a long legs, heels, G-string-ish adjacent, but the most ridiculous movie? Like, I said On Golden Pond. I don't know. What else? Like, that's no one remembers that movie.
What's interesting, Chris, about this film is in For Your Eyes Only, that character, her name's Melina Havelock, and her parents are murdered in the beginning of the film, and she's going after revenge. And Bond comes across her path, and she uses a crossbow to kill. And in terms of that and other things too. And there's a great moment. I mean, to put Bond in a poster like that and make him subordinate to the Bond, the female in the movie, and of course Bond does rescue her, was a really interesting difference. I mean, I'm a Bond fan, but in terms of Bond advertising, to put the feminine as so dominant in the advertising was very different for the Bond franchise at the time in 81.
Yeah, how about Oppenheimer? Can we do Oppenheimer like this? I mean, just like Schindler's List, the
Schindler's
Green
List.
Mile,
Oh, come on, man.
Free Willy. People are going crazy. Muppets in space. Captain
Go
Marvel.
up to this. You're not supposed to start right up.
Jesus, man. You might as well say Roots, man. Like, what the?
Well, someone put Song of the South, Godzilla, Jaws, Field of Dreams. The chat is on fire with suggestions.
There we go. New Snow White poster.
Yes, it comes full circle. Oh, ridiculous!
Well, you could do a whole section on Star Wars posters,
Right,
The Acolyte,
all of the Star Wars movies and TV shows with this style. I want to see it as like an art show. Could be a poster book.
If they had the
Kramer
balls to do
versus
that to the Snow
Kramer,
White movie,
Wizard
I would
of
actually go
Oz.
watch it.
Right.
Oh, Chad,
It would
I
have to
love
be.
you,
It would
Chad.
have to be Gal Gadot's legs.
Yeah, yeah.
I love you, Chad. You're on fire. My
Sure.
left foot, the Aristocrats, Obi-Wan, Terrifier,
The
Golden Girls, Psycho. Oh,
have all three of them or whatever.
yeah, I love it.
Four.
So, all right. I just think, I mean, how many times can we do a Star Trek is Dead segment? I mean, they're just going to keep.
They do them for us.
You're supposed to have
Yeah.
a trial, or aren't
The
you?
studio makes them for us.
Yeah, I think, you know what? We have to bring the trial back. Alan, are you in for the trial?
Yeah.
The trial of the
One day it'll
millennium.
happen.
The trial of the 23rd century. It's a matter of when we can do it. We got to do it over a month. I know you guys will come back. We'll do a trial. I do have my judge's gavel and robe are available. Alan has a suit. Right, Alan?
Yeah, and I have my my bishop's outfit too.
Just out of curiosity, how right now, how many Star Trek shows are on Discovery right now?
Well, there's Star Trek Discovery. There's Strange New World.
Discovery's over. Strange New Worlds
Yeah.
is coming back for season 3 and 4.
Okay.
Lower Decks is finished. Starfleet Academy is in production.
Oh, Jesus.
That's
And-
Harry Potter.
And
Star Trek.
they're trying to, they've got a Star Trek origin movie that's supposed to be the origin of the Federation or the Star Trek universe, which is supposed to go into production with the director of the USS Callister. He directed that episode of Black Mirror.
I heard a big spoiler from that. The
Yeah,
universe.
the movie itself is the spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the universe gets bitten by a radioactive Gene Roddenberry. That's how Star Trek is born. That is my dad joke for the day. Okay. Pivoting topics here. We've got this story, which we will read. If you would bring it up, Alan. Justine Bateman on Zachary, Levi, or should I bring that up?
Yeah, bring it up because I'm not on that page right now.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is the
sure.
one I sent you. It reframes everything of him being attacked, and it basically is just if you scroll down to the bottom, it's a capture of her tweet about him.
Oh, okay. Let me share that for everyone here.
Yeah, because he got attacked by his co-star, Zachary Levi did, someone he was on Broadway with, basically saying like, I never liked him, and a little disingenuous.
It was coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
of
was
course.
coming. Mhm.
So they reframe that.
Justine Bateman defends Zachary Levi after Laura Benanti attempted to cancel him. All right, let's look at this. Badger, if you would.
Yeah. Do you want this is this whole thing is just reading everything that she says about him, but if you want Justine's, it's if you go down to the bottom, it has a screen capture of her response to all of this.
Let's
Right
look
there.
at this.
That's
if you would read
Justine's.
it.
Yeah. Justine Bateman, she says, I've heard of that Zachary Levi. However, I've never heard of Laura Benanti. The era of attacking past co-stars as a means to impress the judges at the Victim Olympics is over. It does not result in more work. In fact, it simply telegraphs one's capacity to torpedo projects, past, present, and future. And I don't know one film, series, or play producer who wants that anywhere near their projects.
Wow, good for her.
Bingo. Justine Bateman coming in with a common sense take.
Spot on.
About because I saw the clip with Laura Benanti. She says in Variety, I never liked him. Everyone was like, he's so great. And I was like, no, he's not. He's sucking up all the effing energy in the room. He wants to mansplain everybody's part to them. They did a play together, apparently. It sounds like she went on to say, because I saw the actual clip, she talks about how he was like, let's have a dance party. He was like very enthusiastic. And if you don't want to participate, just maybe bug out.
It seems politics based too, because I don't know what you can say about stuff with Koof and jabs and all that. But basically, they had someone die young, and he was suggesting it was maybe because he was forced to get certain procedures in order to continue. It was very sudden, and she was like, "Oh, and he's faking tears and all that." But really, it just seems like she's virtue signaling. And that's what Justine is pointing out. This is just a sloppy virtue signal of like, "Look, I'm on the right team. I don't avow him or whatever. I disavow," and it's obvious. And like she says, it telegraphs your ability to do this.
She also overestimates her popularity amongst the general public. I mean, she's very well known in the Broadway community, but for us movie people, we know her as the mom from No Hard Feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know who this woman was.
I had no idea who she was.
Yeah, I was curious as to why Variety even put out an article or story talking about this whole situation in the first place. It seems like now they're coming after Zach. So does somebody have something negative that they want to say about Zach Levi because of his political stances, X, Y, and Z? All right, let's hear from you. Because like this is such a nothing burger of a story anyway. And now it just seems like it's here to fuel the flames of hate towards this one particular actor. That's how it comes off to me anyway, because I don't understand why they even bother. There's probably a million stories like this in Hollywood that happen all the time if you really want to talk about it. So like, why this particular actor? Why
because
Zach
he's so
Levi?
well known. That's why he's a huge actor. He's a huge name, and he came out for the wrong team.
Yeah,
that's why.
That's why.
Actor.
Yeah. So it's like Justine says, it's like, it's supposed to be, hey, whatever went on the set behind closed doors, that's where it stays. We're not going to let all our dirty laundry out there. And it seems like this chick, Laura, is one of those people that, they'll go out and run their mouths, and, possibly, ruin your project, before you even get it started, because
she sounds resentful too.
I want to tell you everything that Zach Levi was saying behind closed doors, and that's like, come on, man, nobody want to hear all of that.
Well, and Zachary,
like she has no idea who her co-star really is.
She's basically saying that he's an overly optimistic person, and that's why she hates him.
Yeah,
that's
and it sounds to me like she doesn't know, even though she performed with him and worked with him, she has no idea who he is, because if she did, then she would have seen this coming. Like even I saw this coming, him backing Trump, because he came out for RFK, and even before then, if you look at his Instagram and follow all of his posts, he's a very based actor.
She thinks he's a Christian grifter, and she goes on a rant saying that, like, oh, he'll be able to go into the Christian film industry that's super strong. I'm assuming like him and Dean Cain are going to be the superstars or something. It sounded like she was upset that he's making money that she's not making. Really, all he did was like not lie anymore and say his beliefs.
Well, also, and he is making a Christian movie next. So.
But the thing about Zachary Levi, and I find this interesting that he made 2 franchise pictures in terms of Shazam. The first one did okay, and the second one didn't do very well. Now that's, if you're an actor and you have that opportunity at a major studio to create a character in a comic book franchise, and it doesn't work. The same thing happened to Armie Hammer when he made Lone Ranger. You know, they were trying to make him happen before his troubles, and that movie was a spectacular failure.
Mm-hmm.
That's difficult for an actor to deal with, you know. And here he is. They Laura and him worked on, I think it was Broadway. They were on stage together, weren't they?
Yeah.
So they're on stage. That's a whole different vibe. And here's a guy. I mean, Zachary Levi he was Chuck, right? And he had a great television career, made a lot of money. He's probably a big charismatic guy. And this, what she said, leave it to creative differences. That's what you say, creative differences. That's the catchphrase the industry uses. For her to come out, the question is, why would you go out and attack a fellow performer? I mean, she doesn't say he's abusive. He doesn't say he sucks the air out of the fucking room. Okay.
Virtue signal.
And and I find that such a strange criticism.
But right before that, she said everyone likes him, which is funny, right? So she's already saying that he's likable. She's just the bitch.
And Chuck, he was the lead. You set the tone, so he was just trying to set the tone.
It's such a weird thing to come out and say this publicly. Like, why would you? And in terms of faith-based movies, Angel Studios is not a bad studio to be in business with. They're making the best faith-based movies that have been made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and whether that's your thing or not. What is it? Bonhoeffer? Was that the movie that they did?
Yes.
That they had Bonhoeffer come out about a Christian pastor who was also a spy, and they've made some interesting stuff. They were the company behind the child trafficking film that they sold it to Fox, then Fox sold it back.
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Yeah. That was an Angel Studios project. I mean, it's such a strange thing that we have whether you like the Daily Wire or not. Somebody brought up Brett Cooper. The Daily Wire is starting to, they've already started to distribute movies. And in terms of the business of cinema, you know, why would you slam on, if somebody wants to make faith-based movies, that's a genre. The same way that horror is a genre, the same way that erotic thrillers are a genre. And if you want to work for a faith-based studio, go right ahead. If they're stepping up their game and they're making better movies and they're serving an audience, I mean, what is wrong with that? Why wouldn't you want to get in business with people that are making product?
Well, Zach already said that when he first endorsed Trump, that he said that they were going to come after him, and he was right. And we all knew that they were going to do that. You know, you have Whoopi Goldberg going to be talking about Hollywood doesn't do that. We don't go after people because get out of here.
Well, they were already attacking him because he endorsed RFK Jr. first,
right? So what I'm saying is he
was already being attacked.
Right. He already knew that this was going to happen. Right. Yeah. We're going to see this at least for the next couple of years, right? I think it is going to die out, especially now with the culture being different. But no, Justine was totally right. What this woman was doing was basically trying to placate to the higher beings in Hollywood that she's still on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That team has been swept off the field.
He's too great. He's too nice. Everyone likes him. He's too happy. He
fooled them, Steph. He fooled them with his positive.
You know, I wonder if she's saying that because he's too likable. He's too happy. People like him, and that's a bad thing because.
But he's also paid his dues,
and he might have that influence over the people who are liking him. So that's a
you're right.
Thing.
Yeah,
I agree with you totally.
No, you pointed out, Robert, he came in as a show lead on Chuck. He was setting the tone every day for the shooting. If your lead is a piece of shit and hates his job, it's probably not fun to show up for work for 14 or 15 hours. But if you're positive and get going and you're keeping the energy high for a live performance, probably pretty grateful for Zach to be around. And that's why she was a no fun boo-boo-bee-boo. And now she's upset and virtue signaling about it.
But the thing is, as pretentious as Hollywood is, guys, Broadway is 1,000 times more pretentious. And so... you know, people are probably praising her for what she said about Zachary Levi. Unfortunately, at least in the Broadway.
That's what I was wondering. Where is she getting the plaudits from? Okay, so it's coming from Broadway because I sure as hell don't think it's coming from Hollywood. You know, I don't understand.
She's very well known. She's very popular in Broadway circles.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I get it. Now I get it.
But was the work they did together good? Like she might have not liked him, but is the play that they worked on together or the show
Yeah,
they
it
worked on
was-
together, was
you
it
know,
good?
it's
Was
one
it
of
well
those-
reviewed?
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
one of those overly optimistic musicals too. Boy meets girl. That's kind of.
I mean, show business is
Sounds
full of
heteronormative.
people. When Richard Gere and Deborah Winger worked together on Officer and a Gentleman, and that movie was a huge hit, and everyone loved the erotic spark between the two of them, they hated each other when they made that movie.
Yeah.
And it still worked. What matters is the work.
Rob, I've been accused of being overly optimistic. I think maybe you've had the same accusation, but Zachary, I always thought he was well liked. You remember going to Comic-Con? He, with his own money, would get together sponsors, put together an event that was open to the public.
Yeah, Nerd HQ.
It was Nerd HQ for people who could not get into Comic-Con. He did this big event. It was a party. You could get on the list. It was not.
Dude, it was a good time, man.
It was not.
I used to love those parties.
Anyway.
So, do you remember that, Rob? Like, it's just like, it's weird that he would get that. He was very much, I don't know. I always thought he was a good guy. I mean, I don't like everything he does, but whatever. I think the moves are all right.
Said it right. You said it right there. He was popular until until he supported Trump.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd love to get Clifton on the show, at some point. Love to do that.
With all that said, though, I really do hope that his career isn't in trouble. I hope he gets lots of work. I hope that I hope Hollywood makes their change and just accepts people for who they are and takes this guy who is talented, who is well known, who does have a name, and is a generally good guy. I hope he gets work, man. I hope he doesn't get punished. I kind of feel like he will, but
he's trying to. It seems like he's trying to get away from Hollywood and try to do his own thing. It seems like it from the stuff that I've read off of his his posts that he puts up. It's like it's time for us to move and create maybe an alternative or something like that. So it seems
He's right.
He's doing that. What is it called? Geek? I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, he is doing.
Yeah, so it's like that's honestly
He's
that's
looking for
the move,
investors. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah, just get away from Hollywood.
He'd probably come on here, Chris. He took pictures with
we'll get him
PO and all that. No, come on.
We'll do our best. All right, pivoting to another story, a different kind of story here. Olivia Wilde chooses art over audience. From the Hollywood Reporter, in a story by Ethan Vlessing, Olivia Wilde talks choosing art over audience approval. I don't make movies so people love them. Strange.
Great business model.
The Hollywood actor turned Helmer told the Red Sea Film Festival directors have to choose between being a celebrity or an artist. Okay. Badger, if you would, we'll get into this story. I'll get that there.
A Hollywood star, Olivia Wilde, warns social media and the embrace of fame pose an existential threat to filmmaking as a storytelling art. Directors have to decide at a certain point, do you want to be a celebrity or an artist? Because of social media, it's becoming even more combined to something that is quite dangerous for the art form. Wilde said while taking part in an informal conversation at the Red Sea Film Festival on Saturday, when you conflate filmmaking or acting with large-scale acceptance, you immediately cut off every opportunity to do any risky work. So it was important to me to never become overly focused on being accepted or loved, she added.
Well, there you go. Just this last paragraph here.
To get away from the Hollywood bubble, the actor turned director told the Red Sea Film event she remains inspired by film from far-flung countries not dominated by social media and cliches. I'm so interested in films coming from a society that has been indoctrinated with the same amount of cliche. I'm so interested in films coming from a society that has been, I think she meant I'm not, but either way,
hasn't been.
But
she's saying she's coming from a society that has been.
Wilde said she talked about the social media increasingly shaping Hollywood movies and TV series. As a dual U.S. Ireland citizen and having gone to acting school in Dublin, Wilde added her real dream is to make a film in Ireland. Her Irish roots spring from her parents. And
Cockburn. Here we go. What do you guys think of this? And I'll say this. Some of the greatest filmmakers today aren't on social media. Chris Nolan I really think Chris Nolan he's the modern day Spielberg. He just is. Along with Denis Villeneuve, when you look at the track record, the filmography, the consistency of quality work. So those people, they don't even bother to, have a social media presence. Now there are like Denis Villeneuve and Chris Nolan fan accounts that tweet out stories about them or videos when they do interviews. But I swear between Villeneuve and Nolan, they are the ones, saving modern cinema. So thoughts on this from Olivia Wilde, who
I think it's goofy of her to say she's not trying to make movies for people to love, right? I get what she's trying to say. I do get it. Like, she doesn't want to make, the same Hollywood drivel that we see day in and day out. I understand that part. And if she would have said something like that, I would have said, okay, that's fair. But to say, like, I'm not trying to make movies for people to love them, she sounds weird. She sounds pretentious. The only movie I saw of hers was Don't Worry, Darling, and that movie was dumb. So, like, I don't know what kind of platform she's trying to put herself on. I don't know if she's trying to compare herself to some of the great filmmakers, but she's not a great filmmaker.
Yeah, I think Booksmart was. Didn't she make Booksmart?
Yes.
That's a pretty great movie, though.
I read it as she's not trying to make commercially, I'm just not trying to go full on commercially popular, films. I want to stick to something that is grounded and real to me and the art. That's how I read it.
Yeah.
I agree with Dante's point. If she just said it in a way that just doesn't make any sense, because obviously if you're making a movie, you want something that's also not just personal to you and it means something to you, but you do want to find an audience for that film that people will enjoy. So it does come off very pretentious the way she said it, but I get it. It's either you want to be a celebrity and you want to be a famous director and you want to make movies that everybody, loves, but then you have to kind of lower your, like, I don't know, your artistry and just make something for the masses, pulp, stuff for the masses, just go ahead and consume it. Or do you want to make something that has some meaning, some art to it? So I get it. And yeah, but she just probably worded it the wrong way.
Yeah, because it comes off as kind of a slight to audiences, to us.
Yeah, it does.
And I think we're kind of tired of the artists, the actors who believe that they're above us. Realizing that we're the ones who in a sense pay them, who provide their paychecks. This to me just came off as privilege. Because I'm gonna take all this money in, raise all this money and make a movie for me. And right. Whether you like it or not, I don't care. There's only one person who can make a movie for themselves, and apparently that's Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. Well, and it's also hard to take her seriously when she was served with like divorce papers at CinemaCon while she was giving a speech. Wow. And also had an affair with her star while she was making "Don't Worry, Darling."
Yeah, I think
it was child custody papers she was served.
Wasn't it Harry Styles she was messing around with?
No, it was, yeah.
It was interesting because she's talking about how more women need to be directors in Hollywood in this article. And there's another article, a Deadline article that finishes what she's saying. And she says, I'd rather be controversial than boring. You never want to make a movie as a director that people are like, I don't know, I felt nothing. I'd rather people hate it than feel nothing. At a certain point, I realized I don't want to have my value deplete at the point where my wisdom and experience is at its apex. I want to be celebrated for my experience as opposed to some sort of value based on something that is inherently fleeting. So she's taking like a very feminist point of view. She wants to be celebrated. She could care less. She really could care less. But she
How
wants
about
to
your
be
work being celebrated?
Yeah.
That's
the statement lacks humility. The statement lacks humility.
It does. Yes.
It's one thing to say I'm an artist and I want to touch people. I want to make people think, but that's not how it's coming across. It's like I'm the filmmaker. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and you need to come along the ride for me.
I'll say this: I did really like her in Her. She was in Her with Joaquin Phoenix. She has a bit part. She's a date gone wrong.
Yeah.
She's unhinged. She's not on screen very long, and she's really good. So, there you go.
I think she's really talented. I mean,
Yeah.
I do. I really like Booksmart. That was her debut feature. I was really impressed by that.
Same.
But I was able to see she made a I guess call it a pitch reel for Don't Worry Darling that I was able to see. It was shown to me, and I was very impressed by how she was able to convey what she wanted to do with Don't Worry Darling. And while I think that the story was a little overly familiar, and I did think that there's a lot to like in that film, I don't think it worked entirely. So she's very talented, but why not let the work speak for itself?
Mhm.
You know, why that's what as all filmmakers
like this for her next movie.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
She could be the person in the poster.
I agree. She needs to let the work speak for itself, as opposed to I'm a woman, so you have to like it because I'm finally breaking glass ceilings in Hollywood. Women are finally becoming directors in Hollywood, so that means you have to like it, and whether you like it or not, it still has to be celebrated. Like,
no one's ever stopped women being directors. Anybody can pick up a camera and make a film, and that's what. And nowadays, you hear more. It used to be when Chris first started Film Threat. And you're talking about the beginning of the burgeoning independent film scene that happened in the beginning in the late 80s and early 90s. Nobody was preventing anybody from picking up a camera. No one tried to stop Spike Lee from making She's Gotta Have It.
There's no barrier to entry.
No,
in the indie film world,
at
there
all.
is no barrier to entry. But I'll say this: certain people are attracted to certain types of jobs.
that's very true.
I have worked in TV production. It's mostly the hair and makeup department, mostly women and gay men.
Yep.
There is no barrier to entry for straight men to do those jobs. But I think that certain personality types are attracted to certain jobs. That is a fact of life. That is just the way things are. But no one is stopping anybody. Anyone.
That's funny. She's the second actress that I've seen within the past week talking about how they need more women behind the camera. Because Michelle Yeoh, an article came out last week, I think, about her saying that she kicked the glass ceiling down for women to direct, and we need more women storytellers, and we need more women directors in Hollywood, and that they want at least a seat at the table. And it's like, nobody is holding you back from having a seat at the table. There's been no barriers for you guys to do that. So.
I'll say something controversial that maybe would get me canceled, and I don't care. I'm going to say it. The problem is, again, Alan, you and I see a lot of indie movies, and I feel for certain types of filmmakers, there is a burden to say certain things. A female filmmaker, a woman filmmaker, I think comes with a burden that, you have to say things about, you have to comment about men. Or even with, I'll say this, filmmakers of color somehow feel they must comment on
This is
race.
male privilege. This is white privilege.
You don't have to comment on race. You can
don't
just
have
make
to
a movie
comment.
about. This is why I like Jordan Peele and the films he's done. He makes movies about people. Isn't all big now? Does he comment on things? Yes, in a very smart way. But what I'm saying is the burden that I think comes with filmmakers that are not. I think, and I don't look. One of my closest friends when I was in college was a black filmmaker. We were students together studying film, and he would only cast white people in his movies. Black director wanted white people. He said, because white people are just generic people. And I can just do whatever I want. And that was a crazy statement. This was in the 80s.
He was totally right, though. Like, and I completely understand why he said that, right? It's because that way he can't get typecast, he can't get pigeonholed, he won't be stuck making black movies, right? He can just make any movie. So, and it's unfortunate that, and let's be real here, man. I mean, we talk a lot of stuff about woke and everything like that. Hollywood, for the longest time has put people in their categories, right? Like there was a time where if you were a black actor, you were only in black movies or black TV shows. That was it. Don't get me wrong. You had a few tokens here and there, but for the most part, you were placed in a specific box. And so I get what your friend was talking about there.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to just like Jordan Peele, and we met him once at a DVD release party for what was that movie? God, I'm just
for Nope.
Yeah, for Nope.
Nope. Yeah, that's where Keke Palmer. They were all there.
Yeah,
It was fun. It was fun.
I like the way he approaches his characters. They're people first, and any sort of immutable characteristic is down the line on the list of attributes. Right?
It is a privilege, like you were just saying.
To Ryan Coogler's new movie, it's just a horror movie. It looks. Have you seen the trailer? It looks good.
Period vampire film.
Yes, just a period vampire thing it looks like a video game too. Part of it, like, I mean, in a good way. The
problem though is that now Hollywood's trying to overcompensate by. I get it, they were pretty shitty to black people earlier on, but now now what they're doing is the opposite, right? They're making black characters where there shouldn't be black characters, right? Like Victorian London. Stuff like that, or Vikings, black Vikings. Like, what are we doing here, people?
Well, that's stuff dumb too. But Hollywood Shuffle, just real quick, Hollywood Shuffle at the time that movie came out. Okay,
Robert Townsend's film.
That was very relevant and very true, which was also why it was funny, but had a great point to make. But we're not in Hollywood Shuffle days now. We can anyone can make a story about anything and make it interesting.
Well, Chris, the problem is that doesn't sell, Chris. The thing is, racism still sells, but it sells in a different way now. See, now it sells when you slam white people. That's like the new racism, right? It's the way to get ahead. Like you said, it's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm a successful black filmmaker. I live in a gated community. I drive a Lamborghini, the whole deal. But white people and oppression, that's the real problem, right? It's this weird. Again, it's the victim economy. Even when you've made it, you still got to subscribe to the victim economy.
But Chris, they need a Hollywood Shuffle for this day and age. Like they need somebody to write a Hollywood Shuffle for the current era, the DEI Hollywood that we have right now, where they're just like you guys said, the overcompensation for all of this. We need that,
we need a black director to make it.
Well, yes.
Exactly.
Make it a comedy.
Here's the thing I think isn't spoken about. The way people talk about gatekeeping or keeping people out of Hollywood, they're acting as if there's a bunch of people who want to get into Hollywood that somehow are being prevented from doing so. And if you think about it, like Catherine Bigelow, who's one of my favorite directors, she's also a woman. Her first film she co-directed was a movie called The Loveless that starred Willem Dafoe, and it was a biker gang movie. It was not a female film. Then she went on and directed Near Dark. She did The Hurt Locker. She's never made a film. I mean, she's done things like The Shape of Water that had more female characters, but Near Dark is an incredible vampire movie. She made a movie with Jamie Lee Curtis and Ron Silver called Blue Steel.
Oh, great
Jamie
movie.
Lee Curtis is a cop.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, what's so interesting is everybody acts like there's 100 people that want to get into Hollywood. And of those people, there's the exact same number of all different people and sexualities and ethnicities that all want to get in. And Hollywood is only picking, it was only run by white dudes. It's because white dudes were the only people that wanted to get into Hollywood for a long period of time, because making movies is a crazy thing to want to do. And as culture changed, like the blaxploitation films of the 70s, suddenly you had black actors and black filmmakers and black artists who had a way in because they had urban audiences that were watching these films. And that's how you had the rise of people like Fred Williamson and Richard Roundtree and Pam Grier,
Max Julian,
and Rudy Ray Moore, and they were filling a niche, and they were jumping on board. And then the blaxploitation films as a genre kind of died out, and no one is preventing anybody. We have more technology now. People are carrying around 4K cameras, and you can get camera mounts. I mean, anybody could take 2 4K cameras and make a film that looks like a Hollywood production. The reason they're not is because it's incredibly difficult to do it. And it's incredibly difficult to have a dream to make a feature film and follow it and make a film. And then you have to be talented as well. And the very medium of filmmaking and feature filmmaking, we as audiences, we can tell if a movie's good or bad in the first 60 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Has someone made a film?
I've said for years, man, it's hard to make a bad movie. right? Like it's hard to make a bad movie, much less a good movie, man. Like
Yep.
filmmaking is brutal. There are people who've almost like went crazy trying to make movies, right? Like it's not an easy thing to do.
Not at all.
I would never want to be a filmmaker. I can never be a director. I just couldn't do it, man.
It's really, 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 really hard. And most people would not want to do it in the first place. And the people that do want to do it get weeded out. And it's, I mean, Chris, you know, how many people, when we first moved to Hollywood, 30 years ago, how many people are still here?
Yeah, people do leave. I mean, it's
the rate of attrition in this business will kill you.
Yeah.
Because you have to, unless you're making things, unless you're producing material, you're out.
And back then they were working with celluloid. They were working with film, right? Like that was a whole nother animal, man. Like,
which was very expensive.
Yes, it was expensive. And if you ran out of film, guess what? Your movie is done. It's finished. Like filmmaking is hard, man.
One last topic, and we'll get to soups right here. The 82nd annual Golden Globe nominees have been announced, and we're out of time. We're gonna go over the nominees for Award This on Wednesday before Justine Bateman joins us. But right here, the nominations are out. It's 27 days away. I don't know if people are still. If Ricky Gervais was hosting, I'd watch it. Not sure how much I care, but here we go. Best Motion Picture Drama, A Complete Unknown with Timothée Chalamet, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, September 5th, and The Brutalist. Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. These are bizarre choices. A Real Pain, Honora, Challengers, Emilia Perez, The Substance, and Wicked. Okay.
Challengers?
The Substance?
Yeah.
Is a comedy?
We have to fill a category.
Musical or comedy, which Challengers is
neither.
I know.
Yeah, neither.
Best Motion Picture Animated, Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Moana 2, Wild Robot, and Wallace and Gromit. Vengeance, Most Foul.
I love Wild Robot.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Wild Robot should win that.
I love Wild
I'll
Robot.
link in here. Best performance by a female actor in a movie, in a motion picture drama. Angelina Jolie for Maria. Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here. Kate Winslet for Lee. Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. Pamela Anderson, The Last Showgirl. Tilda Swinton, The Room Next Door. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture. Adrian Brody, The Brutalist. Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing. Daniel Craig, Queer. Ray Fiennes for Conclave. Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice.
Wow.
That is surprising.
That is very surprising.
Timothée Chalamet, Complete Unknown. That is the big surprise to me. First of all, I think deserved. And secondly, that means that clips from that movie will be shown on national TV where he plays Trump. And best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical or comedy. Amy Adams for Night Bitch. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Demi Moore, The Substance. Hell yeah. Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez.
Get out of here.
Interesting.
Wow. And I bet you she wins or he wins.
Interesting pick. Yeah.
I bet you he wins.
Mikey Madison for Honora and Zendaya for Challengers. The whole list is here. We won't go through.
How was Zendaya up for what?
For anything.
Sebastian Stan is nominated. Here's another noteworthy thing. He is nominated again for a different movie. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night. Glenn Powell, Hitman. Hugh Grant, Heretic. Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain. Jesse Plemons, Kinds of Kindness. Sebastian Stan, A Different Man, a film I really enjoyed. I would describe that as a comedy. That's fair
he's
enough.
having a good year, man.
I know. Wouldn't it be interesting if he won for both in both categories?
I would love that. So,
yeah,
he won't win for
comment
Trump. For that.
on these, the link, I'll put the link in the description if you want to look. Comments on do we care about the Globes? Do we care about award shows?
I don't. I think it's just the actors, glazing each other in a room. I really don't care.
Yeah, the only thing I care about are the after parties where there's free drinks and free food.
Well, if you're interested in that, at the Frida Cinema on February 2nd, you are all invited to award this. It's Film Threat's annual awards event where we nominate a bunch of movies. It's at the Frida Cinema Sunday, February 2nd. You can buy tickets at thefridacinema.org. So I still get caught up. I love award shows. I know it's kind of lame, but we put on our own event. But what do you think of these nominees? I'll go back to that.
I'm really surprised Zendaya is nominated, man. That Challengers was probably one of the movie I hated the most last year.
Oh yeah, same. I did not like.
It wasn't the funniest movie you saw last year.
Yeah, how is it a comedy?
That is the dumbest. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, they're filling slots. That's what she said. And this year is just a really bad year. There's not a lot, and it reminds me of, I think, 2 years ago where I couldn't even come up with the top 5 best pictures, let alone a top 10.
Wow, Alan.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, look at this.
Who's hosting the Golden Globes this year?
It's Nikki Glaser.
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah. That's not bad. She's funny.
Yeah, better than who is it? Gerard Carmichael from 2 years ago.
Or what was that other guy? Coy or Joy?
Joe Coy. Yeah,
Joe Coy.
Yeah. Nikki Glaser.
I liked Conclave. I thought it was a good movie.
I did as well, but it seems like a week. Ultimately, it's a weak year. It's a weak year for movies. This is a transitional year. The strikes affected things. I, for one, love award shows, but the purpose of award shows, like even our event that Alan, I, and everyone from Film Threat puts on, and you are all invited, by the way. You're all invited. It's a party. Come join. We're in 2 theaters. We've got a comedian that's going to be hosting. We have other special guests that'll be there. Yeah. Everyone gets a gift bag. It's going to be a good time. The purpose is to get people to learn about movies they would normally not know about. Even these movies, Nickel Boys, okay? September 5th, Alan and I gave it a review. The Brutalist, a 3.5-hour movie about brutalist architecture.
Right.
Okay. Which I did not know about. I'm a mid-century modern guy. I did not know about what the brutalist architectural movement was. I've seen the film. I think it's a great first half. Second half, a little rough. I think we're going to review it soon, Alan. Right. So I, for one, and I get excited about Oscar movies. Last year, Tar. We had RRR a couple years ago. It's a good way for normies to say, what is this? The problem is some of these movies are pretty rough. I mean, I was talking to a friend about all the Oscar movies. Many of them, not just a few, many of them involve grape. That's all I'll say.
Raping, yeah.
An inordinate amount of movies have similar themes. And I kind of feel like I've been abused or a victim of trauma after seeing a lot of these movies. I like something hopeful. Complete Unknown, we both saw it. Alan will review it soon. But to
your point, these 6 movies, look at them. To me, the only one that really stands out is A Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
The rest I liked, but nothing really. This year has been the year of where I don't really have a movie that I want to advocate for. Well, last year when American Fiction came out, I was all about American Fiction.
Yeah.
If American Fiction had a poster that looked like this, would you be more interested?
That's what it's probably. Those should be Sterling K. Brown's legs. American Fiction.
Anyway, yeah, just the lack of enthusiasm. Normally, we're talking all over each other. The lack of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. There's nothing here, man.
Well, you've only probably seen 2 of these movies.
The substance is musical or comedy?
That's what I asked.
I think horror. Yeah. They might as well throw horror into that category.
You could argue it's a comedy in some ways. I mean, it has comedic aspects.
It's satire,
but it's way more than that. I mean, I love the film.
Yeah, Honora is the other standout.
I think
But
Honora's great.
Honora's great, but last year, Poor Things, Emma Stone won for that.
They'll probably give it to Emily Perez or Amelia
Full
Perez.
frontal nudity, lots of fairly close to graphic sex. Honora has the same thing. How are mainstream audiences going to take yet another movie? And I think she is the odds-on favorite for Best Actress. I'm sorry.
Demi Moore?
No, Mikey Madison for Honora.
Really?
I want Demi, but Mikey Madison is a favorite. He's up there. What does it say that for an actress to get attention, she's got to do very close to real looking sex on camera? And that's what, for those, there's a whole debate about Poor Things. You know, I'll put that aside for a second. But Honora also has some, they're not graphic, but man, there is some slamming going on. That's all I'm saying.
But you also have the Virtue Signal nominee in Amelia Perez.
Correct.
And is she going to go the way of Lily Gladstone?
I think you guys are overlooking the obvious, man. I honestly think Wick is going to win this category, to be honest with you.
Yeah, probably.
I really do. Like I think, you know, we could sit here and praise, you know, some of these other films that are better probably, but I think Wicked is probably going to run away with it.
I think so.
Well, we'll see based on the enthusiasm in the chat. Maybe
and the sleeper might be a real pain.
Maybe we'll do a watch party.
You should.
All right. Let's get to soups as we wrap up. In fact, Alan and I are both attending an award show this evening.
Yes.
There you go. So wait, here we go. Soups. Oh my God, there's a lot. Here we go. Quick.
Yeah. Hans Juker for 2. Chris is perfect. Everyone else is too fat or too thin.
Wow.
Okay.
There's a simp
Thanks
right
for the
there.
Chris B for 5. Separating the art and artist has always been a case-by-case thing for me. Some examples: Tom Cruise in Scientology, Rob Burnett in The Goonies, etc. Yes, I agree.
Wow.
I agree. There's only 2 great Star Wars movies. No,
Love
I
it.
love it.
Love it.
Albert, not a retro for 2. Well, Robert, I'm not a fan. We DM'd you that. Talking about porn being mainstream, you can talk about that later. Yeah. Peter Yannick for 5. Star Trek by Jaguar. Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
That's good.
Albert, not a retro for 5. Section 31 will be dumb. We know that when we heard about it. Korn has better plot. That this is more trendy. Men suck. BS Robert will like it. That's his thing. I don't think Robert's gonna like it.
I'll like say, have you heard me talking about modern Star Trek?
Yeah, he's very unhappy with it.
Very.
Tom for 2. Hollywood should just cast a Bella Danger, no joke.
No, they should not. Let's stop this.
Oilers Workshop for $4.99.
We're getting trouble.
Picked up a copy of Film Threat issue 6 from a local antique store, and I have to say, some of the content looks like a certain Star Trek poster.
Hell yeah. We covered indie movies, and a lot of them had sexy stuff. We covered the films of Richard Kern, the cinema of transgression movement in New York City at the time. And we didn't shy away from things, but indie movies have never really been mainstream until recently. Like in the last maybe decade-ish, you know, always it was more the 90s that kind of pushed it into forward facing. But yeah, that's a rare
6 movies.
No. What's that?
I was saying 824 has 6 movies nominated at the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ryan Landis for $4.99. I remember Rob telling us the Picard season 3 would be great, and we all gave him crap. I apologize, Rob. Happy birthday.
Yeah. And happy birthday to Rab.
Yeah, I remember Gary when he finally said it was good. I was like, can't be. But he was right. It was good. Rab was right.
Damn good.
Ginger Adventure for 2. Rob is wearing that sweater since yesterday. Hale, it's cold, right?
No, I take this off and on, and I've got a t-shirt underneath it. I don't, I take it off and put it back on along with my jacket.
Ginger Adventure for 2. Does Alan get as many words as X-Ray Girl 2?
I get 3 more than her.
Yes. I will rule you one day, Flash Gordon.
Where did that come in? It's crazy.
It's better than the other clip. I'll just say that.
Albert, not a retro for 2. Hurt Locker is a great film.
Yeah,
it is.
It was good.
Aaron Charman for 5. Can we talk about Sora, OpenAI's new video generation tool? It was released today.
I don't know anything. I mean, I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it work. Anyone comment on that?
It's out today.
I probably know the least about AI out of anybody on this panel.
Well, you know who knows a lot is Justine Bateman. She will be here Wednesday for our Wednesday show.
There's been some incredible advances recently. There's a new Chinese AI system that came out. I mean, it's almost indistinguishable from reality with people. It's crazy.
Script is here
right at the end. Hi, Script. Benjamin for $4.99. Sebastian deserves a nomination for Apprentice. Cool to see.
He was great.
Stubble McShave for 50 Swedish krona. Rob, I listened to the first couple of minutes to Act 1 of your audio drama. It sounds promising. I will listen to it when I finish the book that he's on.
Well, thank you, Stubble. I appreciate that.
Nice.
Albert, not a retro for 2. I hope Pam Anderson and Sebastian Stan win.
That would be interesting because they were both in the Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson movie together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were. That's right. Yeah.
They were together.
Weren't they? Or am I? No.
I think someone else played Pam.
Someone else played Pam. My bad.
Yeah.
Someone else played Pam.
Lily James played.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was
She's looking
Wilde.
like her, though.
Wait, it's inspired by Pam.
Inspired by Pam. Yes.
But the
Her
end
and
for
Tommy
50.
Lee.
Give it to Demi. Substance was great. Demi, yes. Substance.
great.
Didn't know it
And
was a
that's-
comedy, but
And there you go. Script. I don't know if you can say anything. Glad you made it. Good to see you. Hope to see you soon.
Well, I'm in LA right now with Paul Chato, so yes, you will see us soon.
All right.
Let
Hit
me
me up.
know where you guys are meeting up, man.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, let's do a meetup.
give
Maybe
Paul our best.
tomorrow, Wednesday. Let
I
us
can't do
know.
Wednesday, but
Well, Paulie mentioned wanting to have a barbecue at his house, so we'll see how that goes.
We'll
Yeah.
see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
what's Paulie's address again? Why don't you?
Always nice seeing you reprobates.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, Paul.
Oh, Shadow.
Love it. This is great. All right. That's it for today.
A script would turn on the camera, except we're both naked.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my God.
Don't you guys miss me?
We do. We do. I can't wait to meet. This will be awesome.
Oh my God.
Oh, there you go.
What two grown men do in the privacy of their own home.
Oh,
they're reading the script to Section 31.
wow.
Robert was
What's
right.
a Canadian freak off like?
Porn is mainstream.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. You got those little StreamYard nipples too.
Nice.
Exactly.
I got my own Attack of the Doc poster with the Spy Who Loved Me treatment.
That's great. Your glutes look good in that shot.
For your eyes only. For your eyes only, buddy.
For your eyes only. That's right. That's it for today. Justine Bateman joining us for a live interview on Wednesday's show, 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Bravo.
Join us. Come preloaded with questions. It'll be a lot of fun. And thank you all. Thanks everyone. There are links to everyone's channels in the description for this show. What do you got? I know Badger, you got a live stream after this. Anyone else got stuff coming up? Plug your stuff.
I have a Y2K video coming out, so I just have to
Yeah.
up a little more tweaks on it, but it'll be
All
coming
right.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that, Badgercast coming up. 30 minutes. Just go to my channel. They'll be there. All the links on Twitter, X.
Yeah, I got some videos dropping this week. I also got my show I do with George every Wednesday, George the Giant Slayer. So be sure to check that out, 12 p.m. PST.
DA?
I'm going live tomorrow after the next episode of Skeleton Crew drops. So catch me tomorrow on the Nightcap. And, daily videos. You know how I do it.
Cool. And Rob?
I'll be on Gary's show on Friday Night Tights.
Whoa!
I'm going to be talking about War of the Rohirrim. And also for those of you who have supported our audio drama Act 1, the first 3 episodes of True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak, drop on December 20th. Available wherever premium podcasts you get from wherever they are from.
Cool.
So
All right.
check that out.
Thank you, everyone who sent in super chat comments. We appreciate your participation. So we'll be live again, like I say, Wednesday and Friday. We've got a ton of films to review, including War of the Rohirrim. I have seen it. And I guess Alan and I are seeing Craven. Alan, are you ready for that?
Oh, is that
why?
Yeah. Okay.
We're seeing it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to the chat. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Stay Gucci.